Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin today. It's one of those things, everybody's talking about it, but
Yeah.
I think a lot of people,
It can be pretty
it
overwhelming.
can be pretty overwhelming to actually
sure.
wrap your head around.
Yeah, there's a lot of jargon and complex concepts, especially if you're,
Right.
new to the world of cryptocurrency. It's like, where do I even begin?
Exactly. So that's what we're hoping to do today. We're going to try to break it down. We're using this guide, Bitcoin for Beginners. It's perfect for, if you're just kind of dipping your toes in the water. We're going to be pulling excerpts from that.
Yeah, take it step by step, nice and easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in. What is Bitcoin, really? The guide defines it as this digital currency. It was created in 2009, and it operates independently of any government or any bank.
Yeah, and that's a key point right there.
Yeah.
That's really what sets it apart from traditional currencies. The fact that it's decentralized, meaning that there's no central authority, no government, no financial institution controlling it.
So it's like...
It's really imagining money that isn't
it's kind of a radical...
tied to a specific country.
Yeah,
right?
Totally. Think about it this way. No one can just manipulate its value,
Right.
On a whim or freeze your account.
Yeah.
It's really yours.
Yeah, a pretty radical concept.
Yeah.
So how does this decentralized system actually work? I always get tripped up by, the blockchain.
The blockchain, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's demystify the blockchain. So basically, imagine a giant public ledger. Okay, it's like a huge digital spreadsheet that records every single Bitcoin transaction.
Okay.
And it's distributed across a network of computers worldwide. So it's not like it's just stored in one place. So that makes it simple.
I want to send you some Bitcoin.
Yeah.
What happens next? Okay, so your transaction gets bundled together with a bunch of other transactions into what's called a block.
Okay.
So it's like adding a new line to that giant spreadsheet.
Okay.
Now, this is where the magic of the blockchain comes in. Powerful computers on the network, which are called miners, they compete to solve complex mathematical puzzles, right? To verify those transactions.
So it's like a digital...
It is. It's like
a solar race.
It's a digital puzzle race. And there's a reason for that.
All right.
It's to ensure that no one can cheat the system. Think of the miners as the guardians of the blockchain.
Okay.
Okay? So once a miner solves the puzzle, that block of transactions gets added to the blockchain permanently.
Once it's added, it's like...
Yeah, it's set in stone.
Set in stone.
It's digital stone. Exactly. And here's the really cool part. Anybody can view the blockchain.
Oh, wow.
So it's completely transparent, right? It's like a public record of all Bitcoin transactions.
That's amazing. So we've got this decentralized system, secure, based on this blockchain. What makes Bitcoin valuable?
Yeah, that's the question everybody has, right? It's just digital code, right? Well, its value is actually derived from several factors.
Okay.
And Bitcoin for Beginners, they actually highlight this really well. They talk about scarcity.
Okay.
So there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins in existence.
So it's like digital gold.
It is, very much so.
Limited supply, higher demand, higher value.
That's exactly it. So that limited supply is a key driver of its value. And unlike traditional currencies, which governments can just print at will, right? Bitcoin, the supply is fixed.
So that makes it very appealing.
Yeah, especially when you're thinking about things like...
Especially in times of...
economic uncertainty.
Uncertainty, or if people are nervous about inflation.
Exactly. It's often seen as a hedge against inflation for that reason.
I can see why people are excited about it.
Yeah.
Bitcoin for Beginners talks about these 4 key features that make it unique. And we've already talked about 2 of them.
Okay.
Digital, decentralized, limited supply. What else is there?
So the third key feature that they highlight is the secure transactions, which kind of goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about with the blockchain.
Yeah, and how difficult it is to hack.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. It's incredibly secure. And then finally, the ability to facilitate borderless payments.
Right. So you can send Bitcoin to anyone.
Anyone, anywhere in the world, instantly, without needing a bank or any of those traditional...
Which is revolutionary.
It is. It's really kind of blown open the doors, right, for international trade, remittances, even just sending money to family and friends abroad.
It's more than just digital currency.
Exactly. It's a whole...
new way of...
It really is.
Thinking about...
It's like changing the game.
It is. Okay, so we've covered kind of the basics.
Yeah.
What it is, how it works, why it's valuable.
Right.
But what about its price?
Yes.
Bitcoin is, kind of famous for these wild...
It's a roller coaster, right?
It's a roller coaster. It's constantly going up and down.
Yeah, and that volatility, that's both exciting and...
It's wild.
It can be a bit daunting, too.
Yes.
Especially if you're just getting started.
For sure. It's wild. So how can we make sense of it? All of this movement, and is there any way to kind of predict where it's going?
Right. Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Bitcoin for beginners. They actually talk about this. They have this framework.
Okay.
They call it the crypto prediction framework.
Okay.
And it's pretty interesting.
I like frameworks. Break it down for us.
Okay. So there are 5 main elements to this framework, and they all offer kind of a different lens to view Bitcoin's price. So the first one is fundamental analysis.
Okay.
And this is where you're looking at kind of the big picture economic and technological factors that could influence Bitcoin's value.
Okay, so things like...
Yeah, so things like government regulations.
Government regulations.
The adoption rates.
Adoption rates, like how many people are actually using it.
Exactly. Technological advancements.
Oh.
The overall health of the crypto market.
The whole market. So if
Exactly.
a major country...
Yeah.
decided to say, hey, Bitcoin's legal tender here.
That's a huge signal.
That would
probably drive the price up.
And that could potentially drive the price up. Exactly. Or conversely,
Right.
if there was some kind of crackdown on cryptocurrencies,
Yeah.
that could have a negative impact.
For sure.
Right.
It's like looking at the...
It's like looking at the big picture.
Macroeconomic.
Macroeconomic landscape.
To see kind of what's pushing the price around.
That's a great way to put it. So then the second element is technical analysis.
Okay.
And this is a bit more focused. This is like studying historical price charts, looking at patterns.
So this is where it gets a little more complex.
A little bit more in the weeds, yeah.
Can you give us a really simple example?
Sure, yeah. So imagine Bitcoin's price has been bouncing between, let's say, $80,000 and $90,000. Okay.
For several weeks.
So it's kind of trapped.
It's finding these levels, and those are what technical analysts would call support and resistance levels. So you can think of it like a floor and a ceiling, right? The price keeps hitting those levels.
Yeah.
So if the price breaks through that resistance level at $90,000,
okay,
that could signal that, the bulls are in control and the price might continue to rise. Conversely, if it breaks down below that support level at $80,000,
right,
that could indicate a bearish trend.
It's like a tennis match.
It is.
Watching the ball go back and forth.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah.
It really is. And technical analysts, they use all sorts of different tools and indicators.
Yeah, they get right.
They get fancy.
They can get very fancy.
Yeah. Okay, what's number 3?
Okay, so number 3 is statistical modeling.
Okay.
And this is where you're bringing in the big guns.
Yeah.
This is using sophisticated mathematical and statistical techniques to analyze that historical price data. So basically, trying to predict Bitcoin's price.
Yeah, you're trying to extract those signals, to try to...
Through the power of math.
Through the power of math, exactly. One approach is what's called time series analysis.
Okay.
And this is basically studying how Bitcoin's price has changed over time and seeing if there's any patterns that we might see repeating.
It's like trying to find the rhythm of the price.
Exactly.
Wow.
And then you've got things like artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms.
They're teaching computers to predict Bitcoin's price.
That's what they're doing. They're analyzing these massive data sets.
That's crazy.
Right, looking for those subtle patterns that maybe us humans, we might miss.
That's wild. Okay. But again, like you said, no prediction method.
None of them are perfect.
Is perfect.
It's too complex.
All about taking a lot of info
and there's always an element of uncertainty.
Trying to do your best. What's number 4?
Okay, so number 4 is sentiment analysis. And this is kind of a fascinating one because it's about trying to gauge the mood.
Oh, how are people feeling?
Yeah, the overall mood and sentiment of the market towards Bitcoin. Are people feeling bullish and optimistic?
Right.
Or are they fearful and bearish?
So they're reading...
Yeah, they're tracking social media trends,
okay,
news articles, online forums, even the tone of language used in online discussions.
They're reading Reddit comments and stuff?
They could be, yeah. They're trying to get a sense of what's the temperature, what's the vibe.
Yeah, because if everyone is talking about Bitcoin and they sound excited,
exactly,
the price is probably going to go up, right?
That's the idea, right. Or, conversely, if there's a lot of fear, widespread negativity, it could suggest a potential downturn.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so this crypto prediction framework has given us like 4 different lenses to look at it through, which is fascinating. What's the last one?
The 5th one is hybrid approaches. And this is where you're basically saying, hey, I'm not going to just rely on one of these methods.
You're using all the tools.
Yeah, I'm going to combine them.
In your toolbox.
Right. Maybe I'll combine technical analysis with sentiment analysis.
Right. So you're looking at those charts?
Yeah, I'm looking at those charts. I'm seeing, do those patterns align with, what people are saying?
Are people feeling good about those charts?
Exactly. Or maybe I'll incorporate fundamental analysis along with the statistical modeling.
Right.
So I can get, a more holistic view.
That's like a detective.
It is like you're gathering all these clues.
You're gathering all the clues.
From different sources.
Right.
To try to solve this puzzle.
So it's really about not
putting all your eggs in one basket.
Right. Exactly. Not relying on one method.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
this framework is really encouraging us to, like you said, look at different perspectives, use all the information we can to try to make informed decisions.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that we're going to be right.
Right.
But at least we're going in.
At least we're informed.
Eyes wide open. This is really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool framework.
I like this a lot. Okay, so we've talked about the potential of Bitcoin.
Uh-huh.
How to kind of analyze the price.
Right.
What are the risks?
Right. That's important.
What are some things that people, should be aware of if they're just getting started?
Yeah, I think that's a really important question because, it offers all these incredible opportunities.
It does.
But there are definitely risks involved.
Okay. What are some of the big concerns?
Well, volatility is the big one.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
It's a roller coaster ride.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's just,
Too much.
too much to stomach. Exactly. But then you have to think about things like security.
Okay, so how do we protect ourselves?
So while the blockchain itself, like a technology, is incredibly secure.
It's really about protecting your Bitcoin holdings.
Okay.
Because if you lose your private keys, you've lost your Bitcoin.
And it's gone.
There's no getting it back.
So what do we do?
So there's a number of, reputable cryptocurrency wallets and exchanges.
Okay, so what's the difference between the two?
So a wallet is basically like your digital storage.
Okay.
Right? So you can store your Bitcoin there. An exchange is more like a platform where you can buy and sell cryptocurrency.
So it's like your bank versus your broker or something.
Yeah. But it's really important to do your research.
So you're saying find an exchange.
Choose a platform, yeah.
Find a wallet that's reputable, that
prioritizes security.
You feel good about.
Right, that has a good track record. And it's important to remember that, it's constantly evolving. New technologies,
new platforms are coming out all the time.
All the time, so you got to stay informed.
So continuous learning.
Continuous learning is key. The more you know about Bitcoin, about blockchain, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this space.
Awesome. Yeah, it seems like there's always something new popping up in the world of Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's a fast-moving space for sure. Lots going on.
So much going on. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today in this deep dive. We started with what Bitcoin even is, how it works, what makes it valuable, and even how to start thinking about predicting its price.
And we even touched on some of the risks, right?
Right, the ups and the downs. So before we wrap things up, I'd love to kind of get a sense of what's resonating with you, the listener. Now that we've taken this journey through Bitcoin, what's the one thing that really grabs your attention? What really makes you curious and why?
Yeah, I think that's a great question to ask yourself, right? Because Bitcoin has so many different aspects. It kind of touches on tech, it touches on finance, and it touches on even personal freedom in a way. So different parts of it are going to appeal to different people.
Yeah, for me, it's the potential impact it could have on people who don't have access to banking.
Yeah.
That's what I find really inspiring.
Yeah, I think the financial inclusion aspect of it is huge.
Yeah.
Right? Because, a lot of people around the world, they don't have access to traditional banking systems. And Bitcoin can kind of help bridge that gap.
Yeah, it's like a more level playing field.
It is. It really is. And even beyond that, blockchain, the technology behind it, that can have an impact way beyond finance.
That's what's so exciting, right?
Yeah.
We're just getting started.
We are. We're just scratching the surface.
Like supply chains, voting, all of that.
Yeah. Who knows where it'll go next, right?
It is. It's kind of mind-blowing to think about.
It is. It's very exciting. I think there's a lot of optimism in this space.
Yeah, there is.
And rightfully so.
Well, on that note of optimism,
we've
reached the end of our deep dive. It's been so fun exploring the world of Bitcoin.
It has. It's been a pleasure talking about it with you.
Likewise. We went from the very basics of what is Bitcoin
Yeah.
to how can we try to figure out where the price is going
And everything in between.
and everything in between. So to our listeners, keep exploring, keep learning, and who knows, maybe we'll revisit this topic as the whole world of Bitcoin continues to change and evolve.
Absolutely. Never stop learning.
Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.